Hey there everybody, welcome back to more Duke Nukem 0 Hour. I'm still Niggeroth. I'm actually going to be doing this one by myself, if only to expedite this whole wonderful process of just getting all these horrible Duke Nukem games over with. But we have just crash landed after escaping from the Zeppelin that should not have existed, and we have landed in Scotland, in front of what I assume to be a fictional castle based around a pun, which I think it was called Dunroman. I tried to do a bit of searching beforehand, and the best I could come up with was the fact that there is apparently a breed of Labrador named Dunroman, but otherwise there doesn't seem to be any reference to Dunroman anywhere else. But this particular level is, like usual, very large, very ugly, and for the most part very nonsensical and pretty dull. Especially with all these swimming parts. This particular side of the castle really doesn't have much going on. You can actually see I assume there's a secret up there that spawns in, but I really don't give a shit because it's one of those horrible rocket launchers. And as far as I know, there's no other ammunition for it in this entire time period, so there wouldn't be a point to get in the first place, honestly. But since we are pretty much done over here, the best we can do is look back in sadness at the rocket launcher that we'll never get or need, and just continue to the other side of the castle where we're actually going to need to go. For some reason, though, I decided not to speed this up, probably out of spite, I suppose, for the few that are still watching. But it's not the worst stage overall. I'd say the secret stage after this one is probably a lot worse, and you know, there's been other stages that are shitty, like that horrible fog level. That was pretty awful. I mean, this stage does have some redeeming factors in that, I mean, the inside of the castle is at least creatively done, I suppose. There's plenty of branching paths and things like that. I mean, a lot of it's incredibly useless, but at least it's not straight corridors the entire time. But now that we've made our way into the castle proper, it's time to start the collecting. There are quite a few things we are going to need to collect to progress through this level. First off, though, we have to deal with some very annoyingly placed capitalist pigs, making sure to use the worst weapon possible. Also having to deal with those rather annoying, I don't know, I guess they could be Scyther from Pokemon for all I know. But they do appear quite frequently in this particular level. Still not extremely dangerous unless you just don't give a shit and stand there like I was doing. But they are indeed bullet sponges, which can be quite annoying. Yet again, thankfully, we don't actually run into too many of them during the course of the game. And in here is pretty much going to be the way to the exit, but first we're going to need a cyborg head. And to get a cyborg head, obviously we're going to have to kill a cyborg, which if you remember those enemies from, I think, the riverboat in the Old West, they were pretty fucking annoying. And they haven't got any easier. Especially considering the fact that the easiest way to take them down was the sniper rifle, and guess what we don't have? That. But we can actually trigger a secret in this particular room by clicking on the suit of armor here. And what that does is that it triggers a door to open down here. And it's not too... it's an alright secret. I mean, more armor is always good. And there's really no reason to fight these zombies in here. You just kind of want to rush out, but I think I was just cruising to get rid of some ammo. But the next place we want to go is in this door right here. Got some more zombies in it because they're the dullest enemy in the game. I mean, even with them leaving behind a cloud of toxic gas, they're still very, very dull. And what do we have down here but a pitch black corridor, which means,
Hey, who turned out the
hooray,
lights?
we get to use more night vision. I mean, geez, I'm glad we got to use more night vision. Hooray! Yeah, if we weren't using the night vision, this entire area would just be completely pitch dark, and finding these doors are, well, pretty much all these doors are optional, but they do have a few nice items in them and a few babes to save.
Kids, remember,
Also, I'm sure I'll be showing off the Volt Cannon at some point. It's not a very good weapon. So. But by blowing open that destroyable wall, we can save a babe, which it would be good for health if we needed it. Got another babe in here.
Ooh, what a big boy you are.
And I think in one of these doors there's some much needed shotgun ammo. I think this room is empty. Thank you game. But the place we actually want to go is into this torture chamber here, which actually can be a bit hard to differentiate as an actual different path, but we do need the courtyard key that is down
Hail
here.
to the king, baby.
And now we just need to head back up through the utter darkness. Also, just to give you an idea of how incredibly pitch dark it is and how really you need the night vision to get through here at all. But yeah, the Volt boxes are actually the ammunition for the Volt cannon, if you couldn't put two and two together. And I think it holds quite a bit of ammunition, but I think I end up showing it off a little bit in this particular level, and I think its one benefit is that it will stun certain enemies, but for the most part it's kind of short range, it's not really high damage, it's just kind of an additional weapon.
Time to kill.
And with what I can only assume is a leftover soundbite from the PS1 game Time to Kill, we are in this very, very large courtyard, and we already get another key. That's well thought out game design, I guess.
Hail to the king,
And you may
baby.
also be noticing that I am gathering up quite a bit of Gatling gun ammunition. It's actually a fairly nice gun that I'll be probably showing off in the boss area, like the next stage. Or no, the next stage is the last secret level, which we'll be showing off first. Also, after you grab that key, it does manage to spawn two more Scythers to come out and repeat their name ad nauseum. Thankfully, they are, well, yet again, really dumb. Like, exceedingly dumb. Look at all that poisonous gas. It is certainly painful. But with our new key, we can head into the main hall, I think, or the dining hall, or the buffet area, whatever you want to call it. And we have a lot of different directions to go right now, but really a lot of them are just in case you want to collect some more items and things like that. There is actually a very set path we need to go on to actually progress through the level itself, and it can be a bit confusing, I suppose. But thankfully I cut out a lot of just looking around that I ended up having to do.
Come get some.
And honestly, it's for the best, because when I said there weren't corridors, well, there kind of are a lot of corridors and ugly skyboxes. I mean, you can see the seam in the skybox. You can see where one edge of a graphic comes together with the other. It's just
Piece of cake.
ugly. Jesus. But yeah, what we actually need to do is that there is a catapult located in one of the open courtyards along the outside here. First thing we need to actually do, though, is clear out some of these horrible lizard men, because there is a much, much worse enemy waiting for us down in that courtyard. Thankfully, or rather randomly though, after we save this babe, is that there is this nice little convenient hallway down here. This hallway may not seem like it has much to offer, but it actually does. It's got exploding beds and pretty ladies. Also some ammunition for the shotgun that I'm just kind of going through pretty quickly.
That's the kind of tale I don't need.
But after we save this particular woman and go through and loot this room, for some reason or another, it spawns in a sniper. Not really sure who thought this was the best place for a sniper, but it at least allows us to get some sniper rifle ammunition, which should actually be rather helpful for taking out this metallicized dick waiting for us down in the courtyard. Also, for some reason, it spawned even more lizard men, because why not? They have plenty of RAM left in their huge ass cartridge that they wasted otherwise. The one annoying thing about trying to fight this cyborg down here from up on a good vantage point is the fact that he's just kind of running around like an idiot and jamming his face as close as possible to the wall itself, so there's little chance you're actually going to be able to shoot him from up here. And just showing off that wonderful stun effect from the Volt gun, or the Volt cannon I should say. And it's at this point when I realize, well, I only have 3 shots left, and I actually do need to save it for another reason. So I go to plan B. B for bomb. And plan B doesn't work out, so I go for plan F for fail. Thankfully the Volt cannon doesn't do too awfully, I guess. But oddly enough, that cyborg did not drop a cyborg head. And I also forgot that, well, the catapult needs a catapult rock. So we're gonna have to go find that. And where's a good place for a catapult rock?
Book 'em, Dano.
In a library.
Groovy.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. You need something to weigh down the books. Or, I don't know, maybe it's flint so you can write or start fires with the books. I don't know. I don't know why there's fucking catapult rock in the library.
In a glass house.
Outside of the fact that it was probably the only room left and they were just like, put it somewhere. I mean, fuck only knows you couldn't have the catapult rock next to the catapult. That'd make too much sense. But thankfully, with our catapult rock safely stowed into Duke's nether regions, we can now go back down to the catapult and actually make some continued progress into the level. I mean, if you can picture it, this catapult is actually pretty much a key in the stupidest possible sense. Amazing destroyable environments. So yeah, we can now backtrack back again, back up the stairs. And that rock, for some reason, actually blew open a door for us. That makes so much sense. And you know what's waiting for us in this really enclosed off room? If you said another cyborg, you would be painfully right. This is why I was wanting to save that sniper rifle ammunition. Just because it makes very quick work of him. Also, you want to make sure and destroy this treasure chest here because it does hold an atomic health, which we will kind of need for the journey ahead. But now that we actually do have the cyborg head, we can get out of Dunroman Castle and continue on to what will be the secret level or the boss level, depending on whatever strikes your fancy.
Pork, the other dead meat.
What I do want to point out though is that there is an empty room ahead of us. If I had made sure to get all the time machine parts, there would be a time machine there, but trust me, we will be doing the secret level. And that will be next time on Duke Nukem 0 Hour.